Hare Krishna. Somebody please lead the invocation prayers.
Yes, Prabhuji, I will do. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjala Shalakaya Satguru Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishyam Stapinam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katamayam Tadanti Shkam Padantikam Vande Ham Sri Guru Sri Udaptakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sakradadam Sadadana Raghunantam Tam Sajivam Satvaidam Satvaidam Savatudam Parijana Sakitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sadadana Lalitam Sri Vishakam Pitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpati Kopesha Kopita Kanta Radha Kanta Namastude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Ishabanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Manchakalpavami Cha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Paditanam Pavaneshu Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vashadi Gaura Bhakta Purida Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for coming. So today we will cover Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 23, verses 1 to 57. It is a pretty straightforward and an easy chapter. Many verses do not have purport, so we should be able to complete the whole chapter today. Let's begin with you all explaining one or more points and asking one or more questions.
We have sent Prabhupada's lecture, Prabhuji.
Yep.
In that, Prabhuji, Prabhupada has explained how to reach personality of Godhead. No, it's not very easy to reach him. So he has explained it. Even though the Lord is in everyone's heart, he is very difficult to reach. Then he explained there are three ways of three features to realize the personality of Godhead. One is the realization is by Jyoti. Next is for Sarvabhuta Bhuva, and the third one is Bhagavantam.
Okay, very good.
Prabhuji, my realization, SB 3, chapter 12, 19 verse, what I heard from the Prabhupada's audio which you kindly sent to us. Those three important elements. First, Jyoti, Sarvabhuta Guha, and Bhagavantam. What I realized is tapasa is most important. We encounter different conditions of life. We can get to train our body trained if we practice tapasa yoga. For God realization, one has to undergo tapasa, and avoiding meat eating, drinking, or intoxication, illicit sex, etc., etc. But we are not a loser in enhancement of spiritual life. On the contrary, we gain. And in Brahmajyoti, God is there in everyone's core of heart. Sarva Bhuta, God is omnipotent and distributed concurrently anywhere in millions of places. That is my realization. And
Very good.
yesterday, when I came to the temple, I all the more felt that in every aspect, Lord Krishna is there. And the examples are really good. The process is in life, we have to pray to Ashtavigraha. Wherever we are, we realize that Lord Krishna is present. That is my realization.
Okay, very good. Shivangi.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I have a question about this chapter. Maybe you'll answer as we go through,
Which chapter?
but the 23.
Yeah.
It's when I was reading it, seemed like Devahuti was almost looking at Kardama Muni like he was her um s- almost like he was her spiritual master in the sense that she was like always looking for his direction and serving him. And my question was like, is he like her spiritual master, or did she not need one because she was just serving him, or did she already have one before getting married to him? Or I guess that was my question.
Yeah, so anybody who gives you instructions can be your instructing spiritual master. So husband for a wife can also be an instructing spiritual master, not initiating. So Devahuti, actually we did read in the last chapter, and it should be there in this chapter also, 23rd. We did read in 22nd chapter also that that Kardamuni, for a wife, husband is like a spiritual master, but not initiating, instructing. Shivangi?
Oh, okay. But I think he was also, maybe I misunderstood, but he also kind of delivered her, or she said, I feel
Yeah,
delivered by
yeah,
your association.
we'll discuss that today. So, what Kardamuni shared with Devahuti is love of God. So Kardama Muni received love of God directly from God when Kardama Muni received darshan of the Lord. And that love of God is what Kardama Muni shared with Devahuti, not as Diksha Guru, as instructing spiritual master.
Okay, so does that mean Devahuti, she reached the goal and she doesn't need like a spiritual, like a Diksha Guru?
So uh, it's not that she does not need a Diksha Guru, she will need a Diksha Guru. So it will lead into the discussion to the next chapter. So Lord will appear in Devahuti's womb as Lord Kapila, and Lord Kapila is going to deliver Devahuti.
Okay.
So which is the last part of Canto 3. So Canto 3 from chapter 24th on, not 24th, but 25th to 33. These last chapters from 25 to 33 are all about Kapila Shiksha. So Lord Kapila is Krishna himself, and actually Lord Kapila will deliver Devahuti, and Devahuti will actually ask in this chapter 23 that she needs a son, and the chapter 24, the very first few verses, Kardama Muni will say to Devahuti that Lord will deliver you. So in chapter 23, what Kardama Muni gave to Devahuti is the spiritual realization plus the love of God, which Kardama Muni had and he shared with Devahuti.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. I think it will get more clear as we read the chapter. Thank
Very
you.
good, very good, and very good that you read, and very good reading with rapt attention. Very good. Rest of you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Krishna.
Not regarding the class, but I just wanted to share just briefly my experience of doing devotional service.
We'll come to
Okay.
that towards the end of the class, so we'll give everybody a chance, but you can discuss the realization from the previous class.
My realization, chapter 23, Kardama Muni recognized and motivated devotees for all their sacrifices, and he appreciated. And in the end, he also realized more than anything, it is a God's sent husband for her. That is my realization.
Okay. Okay. Very good reading with chapter 23 also. Okay, so let's start chapter 23. So Canto 3, chapter 23 is titled Devahuti's Lamentation. Is split in 4 parts. Part 1 is verses 1 to 8. Kardama pleased with Devahuti's service. Part 2 is verses 9 to 12. Devahuti's request to Kardama for a child. Part 3, verses 13 to 48. Devahuti and Kardama enjoy and give birth to 9 daughters. Part 4, verses 49 to 57. Devahuti pleads Kardama to stay back. So the overview of this chapter 23 is, in this chapter 23, part 1 has wonderful instruction for a chaste wife, and characteristics of chaste wife is in this first 8 verses. In part 2, Devahuti reminds Kardama Muni that you had promised to Swayambhuva Manu, Lord himself, Brahmaji, and to me also. Plus, the Lord anyway gave direct instruction to begot children through me. So can you please fulfill your promise? And before asking, Devahuti actually very nicely served her husband, pleased her husband, and Kardama Muni also said that I am pleased with your service. So whatever boon you want, you can ask. And then Devahuti got 9 daughters. Still, Devahuti is overcome by fear. And Devahuti says that the daughters will get married like me. And just as I had to give up my mother Satrupa and my father Swayambhuva Manu, similarly, all these 9 daughters will go to their respective husband's place. So who will look after me in old age? And this way, indirectly, Devahuti is pleading to have a son. So Kardamuni also said to Devahuti that your desire will be fulfilled soon, and assured Devahuti this way. As this chapter 23 is titled Devahuti's Lamentation, towards the last part of this chapter, Devahuti laments that Devahuti did not utilize Kardama Muni's association to seek liberation. Rather, she wasted time in bodily enjoyment. So part 1 is verses 1 to 8. Kardama pleased with Devahuti's service. So these first 8 verses describe the ideal chaste wife and how Devahuti pleased Kardama Muni with service. And the first 3 verses talk about Devahuti's menial service to Kardama Muni. Shivangi, verses 1, 2, 3 translations, please.
Hare Krishna. Maitreya continued. After the departure of her parents, the chaste woman Devahuti, who could understand the desires of her husband, served him constantly with great love, as Bhavani, the wife of Lord Shiva, serves her husband. O Vidura, Devahuti served her husband with intimacy and great respect, with control of the senses, with love and with sweet words. Working sanely and diligently, she pleased her very powerful husband, giving up all lust, pride, envy, greed, sinful activities, and vanity. Hare Krishna.
A lot of characteristics explained here, like chastity, understanding desires of husband, great love, intimacy, purity of mind and body, great respect, sense control, sweet words, giving up lust, pride, envy, greed, sinful activities, and working sanely and diligently. So Kardama Muni is also pleased with Devahuti's service. Mother Jija, verse 4 and 5 translations.
Text 4. The daughter of Manu, who was fully devoted to her husband, looked upon him as a greater even than Providence. Thus, she expected great blessings from him. Having served him for a long time, she grew weak and emaciated due to her religious observances. Seeing her condition, Kardama, the foremost and celestial sages, were overcome with compassion and spoke to her in a voice choked with great love.
Yeah, very good. Pretty straightforward verse. That Kardama Muni says that while serving, you neglected your body. So normally people have so much attachment for their body, they decorate their body. But you, Devahuti, you gave up everything just for serving me. And the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that this is called selfless service. Mother Chandra Aunty, verse 6 and 7 translations.
Text 6. Kardama Muni said, O respectful daughter of Swayambhuva Manu, today I am very much pleased with you for your great devotion and most excellent loving service. Since the body is so dear to embodied beings, I am astonished that you have neglected your own body to use it on my behalf. Text 7. Kardama Muni continued, I have achieved the blessings of the Lord in discharging my own religious life of austerity, meditation, and Krishna consciousness. Although you have not yet experienced these achievements, which are free from fear and lamentation, I shall offer them all to you because you are engaged in my service. Now just look at them. I am giving you the transcendental vision to see how nice they are. Hare Krishna.
So in verse 7, it says that I will give you vision. So vision means spiritual knowledge and spiritual advancement. And in verse number 8, which describes the transcendental vision, that there is no use for material advancement and spirituality is the only thing required, which is highest. Shalini, verse 8, translation and purport.
Hare Krishna. Text 8, translation. Kardama Muni continued, what is the use of enjoyments other than the Lord's grace? All material achievements are subject to be annihilated simply by a movement of the eyebrows of Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By your principles of devotion to your husband, you have achieved and can enjoy transcendental gifts, very rarely obtained by persons proud of aristocracy and material possessions. Purport. Lord Chaitanya recommended that the greatest achievement of human life is to achieve the grace of God, love of God. He said, Prema Premartho Mahan. To achieve the love of God is the highest perfection of life. The same perfection is recommended by Kardama Muni to his wife. His wife belonged to a very aristocratic royal family. Generally, those who are very materialistic or possess material wealth and prosperity are unable to appreciate the value of transcendental love of God. Although Devahuti was a princess coming from a very royal family, fortunately she was under the supervision of her great husband Kardama Muni, who offered her the best gift which can be bestowed in human life, the grace of God, the Lord, or the love of God. This grace of the Lord was achieved by Devahuti by the goodwill and satisfaction of her husband. She served her husband, who was a great devotee and saintly person, with great sincerity, love, affection, and service. And Kardama Muni was satisfied. He willingly gave love of God, and he recommended that she accept it and enjoy it because she had already achieved it. Love of God.
Hold on for a moment. So,
Sorry.
Shivangi, the question you asked gets answered in the first paragraph that we just read, that Kardama Muni offered love of God to Devahuti. And this discussion will come up in later verses also, that how Kardama Muni was able to offer love of God is because Kardama Muni received the love of God from the Lord himself. Shivangi?
Yeah, that makes sense, Prabhuji. But shouldn't it be finished for Devahuti? Why does she still need a guru? Like, she's already achieved the goal.
So she still has desires. So we have discussed in Bhagavad Gita that if I have a tinge of desire, then I will continue to stay in the material. So in this chapter, she has this desire to have a son. And in the next chapter, not next chapter, but the 25th chapter onwards, this discussion will continue that the Lord used Devahuti to deliver Kapila Siksha, just as Krishna used Arjuna to deliver Bhagavad Gita, or Krishna used, what's his name? Parikshit Maharaj to deliver Srimad Bhagavatam. That same way, Lord himself appeared as Lord Kapila in Devahuti's womb, and the purpose of Lord Kapila's appearance is to deliver the Kapila Siksha. So these chapters 25 to 33 are really heavy chapters, but that is the purpose. So we have to follow what the Lord's purpose is. Shivangi?
Okay, Prabhuji. So the follow-up question is, in the next paragraph, it says that Lord Chaitanya, he freely distributed
Yeah, I'll
the
discuss
love.
that.
Okay.
I'll discuss that. And your point about that Devahuti is already perfected. understand that Lord will appear in the womb of somebody only when that person is purified.
Right.
Lord will not appear in a contaminated womb.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, very good. Shalini, continue report.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Love of God is not an ordinary commodity. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was worshipped by Rupa Goswami because he distributed love of God, Krishna Prema, to everyone. Rupa Goswami praised him as Maha Vandanyaya, a greatly munificent personality, because he was freely distributing to everyone love of Godhead, which is achieved by wise men only after many, many births. Krishna Prema, Krishna consciousness, is the highest gift which can be bestowed on anyone whom we presume to love.
Okay, hold on. So, all of you, when you go for offering obeisances to Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the Pranami mantra, we have this Mahavandanaya. So the meaning is explained here that he is greatly munificent personality because no other incarnation has given except Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave this transcendental gift, especially in Kali Yuga, even though people are not qualified. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is freely distributing and is determined to give this transcendental gift to everyone. No one is qualified. Shivangi, that's what you are asking or wanting to ask?
Yeah, kind of, Prabhuji. So after he gave everybody the love of God, does that mean they were already delivered and perfected? They didn't
So
need
he's
to do.
giving the opportunity to accept the love of God. At least I have not accepted. So it's available to everyone. It's subject to everyone's individual endeavor and acceptance. So achieving love of God means you are surrendered to the Lord and you are following Lord's instructions. Ask yourself, are you surrendered? Are you following 100% instructions?
No, Prabhuji. So he's giving it, but then the person still has to endeavor and
Accept,
continue.
endeavor and accept, yeah.
Okay. Well, I always thought he was giving it, and then whoever he gave it to is like, okay, they're already done, like they're
Yeah,
finished.
so we have discussed in Nectar of Devotion that mercy can be bestowed in multiple ways. One is by the direct mercy of the Lord. And Prabhupada has called in this in Nectar of Devotion as wanting an honorary degree instead of endeavoring and studying and writing the exam.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So yes, it is available, like meaning the process is freely available to everyone, but we still have to endeavor. Of course, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can give that special mercy to someone he is pleased with. But otherwise, we have to endeavor.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Makes sense now.
Shalini, continue.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. One word used in this verse, Nija Dharma Dohan, is very significant. Devahuti, as the wife of Kardama Muni, achieved an invaluable gift from her husband because she was very faithful to him. For a woman, the first principle of religion is to be faithful to her husband. If unfortunately the husband is a great personality, if fortunately the husband is a great personality, then the combination is perfect and the lives of both the wife and the husband are at once fulfilled. Hare Krishna.
So Devahuti got love of Godhead as a gift from her husband because of loyalty to her husband. Questions, comments, realizations?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I just had one question, follow-up question. So here, distribution of love of God, she got, Devahuti got it from her husband. So this means that, she has got like how to serve God and how to be completely surrendered. So all that is what, she has been taught by him, Prabhu?
Correct. So I explained that in verse 7 it says, that I will give you vision. So what does vision means? Vision means spiritual knowledge and spiritual advancement. And then in verse number 8, it explains that transcendental vision. He says that material advancement is useless and spirituality is the highest. So that's the spiritual knowledge and the spiritual advancement is the vision that that Gardama Muni gave to Devahuti.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Got it.
All right. Part 2 is verses 9 to 12. Devahuti's request to Kardama for a child. So Devahuti got a chance that Kardama Muni is pleased, and Devahuti also understood the mood of Kardama Muni, that Kardama Muni is very compassionate. Hence, Devahuti said that let me use this as an opportunity to speak to Kardama Muni. Dipanshu Prabhu, verse 9, translation and purport.
Hare Krishna. Verse 9. Upon hearing the speaking of her husband, who excelled in knowledge of all kinds of transcendental science, innocent Devahuti was very satisfied. Her smiling face shining with a slightly bashful glance, she spoke in a choked voice because of great humility and love. Purport. It is said that if one is already engaged in Krishna consciousness and is rendering transcendental loving service to the Lord, then it can be supposed that he has finished all the recommended course of austerity, penance, religion, sacrifice, mystic yoga, and meditation. Devahuti's husband was so expert in the transcendental science that there was nothing for him to argue about, and when she heard him speak, she was confident that since he was very much advanced in devotional service, he had already surpassed all transcendental educational activities. She has no doubt about the gifts offered by her husband. She knew that he was expert in offering such gifts, and when she understood that he was offering the greatest gift, she was very satisfied. She was overwhelmed with ecstatic love, and therefore she could not reply. Then, with faltering language, just like an attractive wife, she spoke the following words. Hare Krishna.
Okay. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that how Kardamuni gave the wealth of spiritual enjoyment and transcendental liberation, which is beyond material enjoyment and beyond material world, that this is not some ordinary gift. And Devahuti is also grateful that as soon as Devahuti got this gift of love of Godhead, Devahuti became humble. And now Devahuti will remind Kardama Muni's promise to Swayambhava Manu, to Brahmaji, and of course to Personality of Godhead. Of course, Lord instructed Kardama Muni. So Devahuti is going to remind all of that, because Devahuti wanted the great personality in her womb. Uncle, if you can please read verse 10 and 11 translation.
Hare Krishna. Chapter 10, translation. Sri Devahuti said, my dear husband, O best of Brahmanas, I know that you have achieved perfection and are the master of all the infallible mystic powers because you are under protection of Yoga Maya, the transcendental nature. But you once made a promise that our bodily union should now fulfill, since children are a great quality for a chaste woman who has a glorious husband. Purport.
Translation 11.
Translation 11. Sorry. Translation 11. Devahuti continued, "My dear Lord, I am struck by excited emotion for you. Therefore, kindly make what arrangement must be made according to the scriptures so that my skinny body, emaciated through unsatisfied passion, may be rendered fit for you. Also, my Lord, please think of a suitable house for this purpose." Hare Krishna.
So verse number 12 is a transition verse leading to the part number 3. So we'll read 12 together with part 3. So part 3 is verses 13 to 48. Devahuti and Kardama Muni enjoy and give birth to 9 daughters. So we'll discuss this aerial mention and Kardama Muni traveling to all over the universe. How was this possible? Because Kardama Muni achieved such powers because of his being a great devotee and not because of his proficiency in yoga. The next few verses up to verse number 21 are straightforward verses about the aerial mansion. As Devahuti asked for a suitable place, hence Kardama Muni manifested this aerial mansion. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, this is heavenly vehicle. It can fulfill all desires, just like desire fulfilling tree. And this is a desire fulfilling vehicle. And as we'll read, we'll be astonished. And even Kardama Muni was astonished by seeing the wonderful aerial mansion. And Prabhupada explains in one of the purport that Kardama Muni is more powerful than Indra, and Kardama Muni can produce more pleasure than heavenly pleasure because Kardama Muni is a devotee. Chandran Prabhu, verses 12 to 17 translations.
Hare Krishna. 12th translation. Maitreya continued, O Vidura, seeking to please his beloved wife, the sage Kadama exercised his yogic power and instantly produced an aerial mansion that could travel at this will. Text 13. It was a wonderful structure, bedecked with all sorts of jewels, adorned with pillars of precious stones, and capable of yielding whatever one desired. It was equipped with every form of furniture and wealth, which tended to increase in the course of time. Text 14 and 15. The castle was fully equipped with all necessary paraphernalia, and it was pleasing in all seasons. It was decorated all around with the flags, festoons, and artistic work of variegated colors. It was further embellished with wreaths of charming flowers that attracted sweetly humming bees, and with tapestries of linen, silk, and various other fabrics. Text 16. The palace looked charming with beds, couches, fans, and seats, all separately arranged in 7 stories. Its beauty was enhanced by artistic engravings here and there on the walls. The floor was emerald with coral daisies. The palace.
Pretty straightforward description of the aerial mansion. We'll continue up to 21. Gopal Prabhu, 18 to 21 translations.
Hare Krishna. Text 18. The palace was very beautiful with its coral thresholds at the entrances and its doors bedecked with diamonds. Gold pinnacles crowned its domes of sapphire. Text 19. With the choicest rubies set in the diamond walls, it appeared as though possessed of ice. It was furnished with wonderful canopies and greatly valuable gates of gold. Text 20, translation. Here and there in that palace were multitudes of live swans and pigeons, as well as artificial swans and pigeons, so lifelike that the real swans rose above them again and again, thinking them live birds like themselves. Thus the palace vibrated with the sounds of these birds. Text 21, translation. The castle had pleasure grounds, resting chambers, bedrooms, and inner and outer yards, designed with an eye to comfort. All this caused astonishment to the sage himself. Right.
So Prabhupada explains that this multi-storied buildings has been there for many years, but people don't have any idea of the history, and they think that this building skyscrapers is some modern advancement. Oh, it actually has been there for many years before. Questions, comments, realizations? Verses 22 to 32 describe that Devahuti enters Bindu Sarovar and again became beautiful. So in one of the previous verse, we read that Devahuti said that her body is emaciated. So Kardama Muni fulfilled desires of Devahuti, and Kardama Muni advised Devahuti to take bath in Bindu Sarovar so she regains her original beauty. Because Bindu Sarovar is created by Lord Vishnu, and Lord Vishnu's tears are mixed in Bindu Sarovar. When Lord gave darshan to Kardama Muni on the banks of Bindu Sarovar, by seeing the great devotion of Kardama Muni, Lord Vishnu's tears got mixed in Bindu Sarovar. Hence, this Bindu Sarovar is a very powerful lake. You just take bath and your whole outlook will be changed immediately. So we already discussed about Bindu Sarovar in one of the previous chapters. Here now, Kardama Muni is advising Devahuti to take bath in this Bindu Sarovar. So all these verses up to verse number 48 are pretty straightforward. We'll only be reading the translations. Shivangi, 22 to 33 translations.
Hare Krishna. When he saw Devahuti looking at the gigantic opulent palace with a displeased heart, Kardama Muni could understand her feelings because he could study the heart of anyone. Thus he personally addressed his wife as follows. My dear Devahuti, you look very much afraid. First bathe in the lake Bindu Sarovara created by Lord Vishnu himself, which can grant all the desires of a human being, and then mount this airplane. Hare Krishna.
Up to 33.
Oh, sorry. The lotus-eyed Devahuti accepted the order of her husband. Because of her dirty dress and the locks of matted hair on her head, she did not look very attractive. Her body was coated with a thick layer of dirt, and her breasts were discolored. She dove, however, into the lake which contained the sacred waters of the Saraswati. In a house inside the lake, she saw 1,000 girls, all in the prime of youth and fragrant like lotuses. Seeing her, the damsel suddenly rose and said with folded hands, We are your maid servants. Tell us what we can do for you. The girls, being very respectful to Devahuti, brought her forth, and after bathing her with valuable oils and ointments, they gave her fine, new, spotless cloth to cover her body. They then decorated her with very excellent and valuable jewels, which shone brightly. Next, they offered her food containing all good qualities and a sweet, inebriating drink called asavam. Then, in a mirror, she beheld her own reflection. Her body was completely freed from all dirt, and she was adorned with a garland. Dressed in unsullied robes and decorated with auspicious marks of tilaka, she was served very respectfully by the maids. Her entire body, including her head, were was completely bathed, and she was decorated all over with ornaments. She wore a special necklace with a locket. There were bangles on her wrists and tinkling anklets of gold about her ankles. About her hips she wore a girdle of gold set with numerous jewels, and she was further adorned with a precious pearl necklace and auspicious substances. Her countenance shone, with beautiful teeth and charming eyebrows. Her eyes, distinguished by lovely moist corners, defeated the beauty of lotus buds. Her face was surrounded by dark curling tresses. Hare Krishna.
Pretty straightforward verses. So this was verses 22 to 33 about Devahuti entering Bindu Sarovar and again became beautiful. And in verses 34 to 43 are about the travel and enjoyment of Kardama Muni and Devahuti in the aerial mansion. So they enjoyed beautiful valleys, they traveled so many places, but they did not forget the Lord. They did not forget to chant the name of the Lord. So a few classes back, our dear Dipanshu Prabhu had asked this question about that how come this Kadama Muni and Devahuti are enjoying and traveling here and there. But the important point is that they did not forget to chant the name of the Lord. Normally in the material world, when you get some opulences, when you are trying to enjoy, you forget everything. I just want to enjoy. But that's not what Kadamuni and Devahuti did. Dipanshu Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Dipanshu Prabhu, read 34 to 41 translations. Again, are straightforward verses.
Verse 34. When she thought of her great husband, the best of the sages, Kardama Muni, who was very dear to her, she, along with all the maidservants, at once appeared where he was. Text 35. She was amazed to find herself surrounded by 1,000 maids in the presence of her husband and to witness his yogic powers. Text 36 and 37. The sage could see that Devuti has washed herself clean and was shining forth as though no longer his former wife. She has regained her own original beauty as the daughter of prince, dressed in excellent robes, her charming breast duly girded. She was waited upon by 1,000 Gandharva girls. O destroyer of the enemy, his fondness of her grew, and he placed her on the aerial mansion. Text 38. Though seemingly attached to his beloved consort, while served by the Gandharva girls, the sage did not lose his glory, which was mastery over himself. In the aerial mansion, Kardama Muni, with his consort, shone as charmingly as the moon in the midst of the stars in the sky, which causes rows of lilies to open in ponds at night. Text 39. In that aerial mansion, he traveled to the pleasure valleys of Mount Meru, which was rendered all the more beautiful by cool, gentle, fragrant breezes that stimulated passion. In these valleys, the treasurer of the god Kuer, surrounded by beautiful women and praised by Siddhas, generally enjoys pleasure. Kardama Muni, also surrounded by the beautiful damsels, and his wife went there and enjoyed for many, many years. Text 40. Satisfied by his wife, he enjoyed in that aerial mansion not only on Mount Meru, but in different gardens known as Vesh, Rambhaka, Surasna, Nandana, Pushpa, Bhadraka, and Chetrath, and by the Manas Sarovar Lake. Text 41 also, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
He traveled in that way through the various planets as the air passes uncontrolled in every direction. Coursing through the air in that great and splendid aerial mansion which could fly at his will, he surpassed even the demigods. Text.
So all
40.
all this cosmology is discussed in Canto 5. So all of you except Dipanshu Prabhu from batch 5, we have seen this video while we were discussing Bhagavad Gita chapter 11, and Dipanshu Prabhu is going to see this video today, and not today, yeah, today in the upcoming Bhagavad Gita class. All this visual, rest of you anyway know, and it's described in these verses from Mount Meru and what is on top of Mount Meru and everything, that there are demigods mansions on top of Mount Meru. And Kardama Muni went in all directions, just as demigods can travel. So we cannot move from one planet to another planet in our own body. Few in the material world are trying, for example, when they go to the moon or they go to the Mars or other planet, but then they need the space suits to survive. Verse number 42 is a very important verse, that nothing is impossible for devotees. Chandran Prabhu, verse 42 translation and purport, and then 43 translation.
Text 42, Hare Krishna. Translation. What is difficult to achieve for determined men who have taken refuge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's lotus feet? His feet are the source of sacred rivers like the Ganges, which put an end to the dangers of mundane life. Purport. The words Yar, Asritas, Tirthapadas, Charana are significant here. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is known as Tirthapada. The Ganges is called a sacred river because it emanates from the toe of Vishnu. The Ganges is meant to eradicate all the material distresses of the conditioned souls. For anything, entity, therefore, who has taken shelter of the holy lotus feet of the Lord, nothing is impossible. Kardama Muni is special not because he was a great mystic, but because he was a great devotee. Therefore, it is said here that for a great devotee like Kardama Muni, nothing is impossible. Although yogis can perform wonderful feats, as Kardama has already displayed, Kardama was more than a yogi because he was a great devotee of the Lord. Therefore, he was more glorious than an ordinary yogi. As it is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, out of the many yogis, he who is a devotee of the Lord is first class. For a person like Kardama Muni, there is no question of being conditioned. He was already a liberated soul and better than the demigods, who are also conditioned. Although he was enjoying with his wife and many other women, he was above material conditioned life. Therefore, the word Vyasanatya Yaha is used to indicate that he was beyond the position of a conditioned soul. He was transcendental to all material limitations. Text 43. After showing his wife the globe of the universe and its different arrangements, full of many wonders, the great yogi Kardama Muni returned to his own hermitage. Purport. All the planets.
So, when you become a devotee, nothing is impossible to attain. That's an important statement made in verse number 42. Questions, comments, realizations? Okay. Verse number 44 to 48 talk about the union of Kardama Muni and Devahuti, and that they begot 9 daughters. Sridhar Prabhu or Kalyani, are you able to read 44, 48? I know you are traveling. Uncle, if you can please read 44 to 48 translations.
Hare Krishna. 44, verse 44. After coming back to his hermitage, he divided himself into 9 personalities just to give pleasure to Devahuti, the daughter of Manu, who was eager for sex life. In that way, he enjoyed with her many years, which passed just like a moment. Verse number 45. In that aerial mansion, Devahuti, in the company of her handsome husband, situated on an excellent bed that increased sexual desire, could not realize how much time was passing. Text 46. While the couple who eagerly longed for sexual pleasure were thus enjoying themselves by virtue of mystic powers, 100 atoms passed like a brief span of time. Text 47. The powerful Kardama Muni was the knower of everyone's heart, and he could grant whatever one desired. Knowing the spiritual soul, he regarded herself as a half of his body. Dividing himself into 9 forms, he impregnated Devahuti with 9 discharges of semen. Text 48. Immediately afterward, on the same day, Devahuti gave birth to 9 female children, all charming in every limb and fragrant with scent of the red lotus flower. Hare Krishna.
Pretty straightforward verses. Any questions, comments, realizations before we discuss the last part? So part 4 is verses 49 to 57. Devahuti pleads Kardama to stay back. So Kardama Muni has already fulfilled his promise, which he had promised in Canto 3, Chapter 21, verse number 19, the promise of impregnating Devahuti. So now Kardama Muni wanted to leave home for his real concern of spiritual realization. And Devahuti appeals to Kardama Muni to please stay back, because the daughters will get married and they will move out. Therefore, Devahuti desired to have a son. So Kardama Muni stayed back for some time to begot a son. Mother Jija, 49 to 52 translations.
49 translation. When she saw her husband about to leave home, she smiled externally, but at heart she was agitated and distressed. Text 50 translation. She stood and scratched the ground with a foot which was radiant with the luster of her gem-like nails. Her head bent down. She spoke in slow yet charming accents, suppressing her tears. Text 51. Sri Devahuti said, "My Lord, you have fulfilled all the promises you gave me. Yet, because I am your surrendered soul, you should give me fearlessness too." Hare Krishna.
Pretty straightforward verses that Devahuti is pleading to Kardama. Mother Mother Chandra Aunty, 53, 54 translations.
Text 52. My dear Brahmana, as far as your daughters are concerned, they will find their own suitable husbands and go away to their respective homes. But who will give me solace after your departure as a sannyasi? 53. Until now, we have simply wasted so much of our time in sense gratification, neglecting to cultivate knowledge of the Supreme Lord. 54. Not knowing your transcendental situation, I have loved you while remaining attached to the object of the senses. Nevertheless, the affinity I have developed for you, you rid me of all fear.
So Devahuti is feeling that she did not utilize the association of advanced Kardama Muni. And she says that I should have inquired from you about a lot of spiritual subject matters to get enlightened, but did not utilize your association properly. Shivangi has a question.
Prabhuji, at this point, is it that her daughters have all gotten married? Meaning Kadama Muni can only leave after like all that responsibility is also done?
So, I don't right now remember whether Bhagavatam describes about the marriage of their daughters. But Kardama Muni's promise was that as soon as the children are begot, he will leave. That was his promise. If you actually look in the material world, people will say, oh, first I have to study and earn money, so I am busy. Then they will say, oh, I have to get married, so I have to earn money. Then when they get married, then they will say, oh, I need to now buy a car and a house, so I need to work even more. Then when they have children, then they will say, oh, I need to earn money to save for children. When the children will grow up, then they'll say for their education, then for their marriage. But that's not what Kardama Muni did. Said, my duty is finished. I was given this service to begot children. That's it. My task is finished. Does not mean he is irresponsible. He's teaching us something very special here. I don't recall. So Shivangi's direct question about the marriage of these daughters. Right now, I don't remember whether it is specifically mentioned about the marriage of these 9 daughters. At least not in Canto 3. It could be there later, but I don't remember right now. But he actually leaves, in the next chapter will come up, that when the son is born, the son is as Lord Kapila appears, he immediately leaves after that. Shivangi?
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you. I was asking because when we read about Swayambhuva Manu, he said that once he got Devahuti married, he's done his duty as a father, so he's ready to move on. So that's why I thought same thing.
Yeah, you are correct. I mean, everybody, I mean, each personality in Bhagavatam teaches us different things. Your point is correct that as parents, they have to take care of their family properly. So generally, say from age 50 or 50 onwards, after 50 onwards, is when somebody should take Vanaprastha. Now, Vanaprastha is not existence in Kali Yuga. Vanaprastha means you are focusing more on spirituality. Previous yugas, Vanaprastha means people will go to forest. Now there is no forest, or it is really difficult to go to forest. So what people do in Vanaprastha is they focus more on spirituality and stay less and less entangled. Shivangi?
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay. Verse number 55 is an important verse about association with devotee. Shalini, verse 55, translation and purport.
Hare Krishna. Text 55, translation. Association for sense gratification is certainly the path of bondage, but the same type of association performed with saintly person leads to the path of liberation, even if performed without knowledge. Purport. The association of a saintly person is in any way bears the same result. For example, Lord Krishna met many kinds of living entities, and some treated him as an enemy, and some treated him as an agent for sense gratification. It is generally said that the gopis were attached to Krishna for sense gratification, for sense attractions, and yet they became first-class devotees of the Lord. Kamsa, Sisupala, Dantavakra, and other demons, however, were related to Krishna as enemies. But whether they are associated with Krishna as enemies or for sense gratification, out of fear or as pure devotees, they all got liberation. That is the association, that is the result of association with the Lord. Even if one does not understand who he is, the results have the same efficacy. Association with the saintly person also results in liberation, just as whether one goes towards fire knowingly or unknowingly, the fire will make one warm. Devahuti expressed her gratefulness, for although she wanted to associate with Kardama Muni only for sense gratification, because he was spiritually great, she was sure to be liberated by his benediction. Hare Krishna.
So association of materialistic people, whether in ignorance or in knowledge, will lead to entanglement. While association with devotees, even if in ignorance, leads to liberation. Questions, comments, realizations? Gopal Prabhu, 56, 57 translations.
Hare Krishna. Text 57 translation.
56.
My Lord. Text 56 translation. Anyone whose work is not meant to elevate him to religious life, anyone whose religious ritualistic performances do not raise him to renunciation, and anyone situated in renunciation that does not lead him to devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead must be considered dead, although he is breathing. Text 57. My Lord, surely I have been solidly cheated by the insurmountable illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For in spite of having obtained your association, which gives liberation from material bondage, I did not seek such liberation.
Pretty straightforward verses. Questions, comments, realizations? Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports of the third canto, 23rd chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Devahuti's Lamentation. So I have shared this slide earlier also about the new batch of Srimad Bhagavatam starting from next Saturday, 27th July at batch 3 and 4. All are welcome to join. You can please spread the word around so that everybody can get benefit of this. And in mid-September, new batch of Bhagavad Gita will start. So I request all of you to please try to get at least one devotee to the new batch and do your part of devotional services and become dear to Krishna. Many of you have already done that, but please continue to bring everybody closer to Krishna through the scriptural study.
Prabhuji, may I ask you one question?
Yeah.
Will anyone can understand better the Srimad Bhagavatam without reading perfectly the Bhagavad Gita?
So if you read Srimad Bhagavatam by yourself without reading Bhagavad Gita, you will not understand. Not only you will not understand, you will misunderstand. But if you have not read Bhagavad Gita, or at least you are simultaneously reading Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam in a class setting in association of devotees, that's a better option. And you will understand at least some portion, because when you will have questions, there will be somebody to answer those questions. Chandan Prabhu?
Prabhuji, my anxiety is I want to introduce one, but he has not read Bhagavad Gita. But all of a sudden, coming directly to Srimad Bhagavatam, how efficiently he can understand or he can learn.
Depends on how much spirituality he knows. If he is completely blank, it does not make sense for him to join Bhagavatam. You should first join the Bhagavad Gita class. So you can set up a conference call with you, me, and the individual that you are trying to introduce, and we can judge whether he can join the overview of Bhagavatam and the Bhagavatam or not.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I will do that, please.
Okay. So last part is last week with the Rath Yatra services. Many devotees across all batches did a lot of services, and they learned a lot many items. So all of you who came for services would like to share your learnings for the benefit of everyone. Shalini, Shivangi, Gopal, Dipanshu,
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Chandranti.
Yeah, I can just try. So it was like, I think Friday and Saturday. So not Friday, Prabhu, yeah, Friday and Saturday. So Friday I went, after finishing my household, whatever I had to do. So I came later, whereas because of the other devotees, they were doing from the morning, from 4:30 a.m. Really, they inspired me to come on Saturday at 4:30. So it was 4:15 actually. So on Saturday when I came, the experience of doing devotional service and services in Srimati Radharani's kitchen early in the morning, clearly we all could make out that it's transcendental, because like when whatever you have taught, that how the modes change during the day, that was clearly experienced as the day progressed, how things started changing. So early morning, the Brahma Muhurt is very, very true. And then things change, and again, mode of passion takes over when everybody is up and the environment, everything changes. So that's what I wanted to share. And of course, like, doing services for the Rath Yatra, the magnitude, the way everybody does, like, it's not possible unless everybody is, unified and doing service.
Yeah.
It was amazing experiences.
Very good. Yeah, early morning service is really, really good. And you can, what Shalini described, you can actually see the modes impacting. Like in morning is mode of goodness, and then all of a sudden, passion takes over. Very good. Rest of you? Quickly, you learn a lot, many things. Shivangi, Dipanshu. Shivangi.
Prabhuji, we learned that Dwarakanath Prabhu, when he decides the menu, sometimes Krishna comes in his dream and tells him what he likes to eat, and that's how he decides the menu sometimes.
Yeah, and how does Krishna speak?
You said he pleads just like a child, like saying, "I'm longing to eat this from you, only your dish for this and this." And
Yeah, very good. Very good. Dipanshu, Gopal.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, it's always a transcendental experience serving Radharani in the kitchen. But this time, in the Rath Yatra, I got to experience how we actually, like, you told us to distribute the books. So I got that thing was new to me. So I was like really pleased like how you were doing that.
Very good. You also learned to make travel as your bhakti yoga. What did you learn?
Yes. So Prabhuji taught me like while seeing the car's number plate, we can like recite the shlokas. For example, the number of the car is like 7126. So adding first two numbers 7 plus 1 8, and then last two numbers like 6 plus 2 8. So 8.8. So like we can recite the 8.8 shloka like that.
Okay, very good. 8.8 is Krishna says, do and endeavor and do vairagya. Very good.
Yes. Hare Krishna.
Okay, very good. Mother Chandra auntie.
I didn't come to the yatra.
Yeah, you did come yesterday. You did do some
Oh,
devotion.
yesterday. Okay. No, that was really a new experience for me. And then I don't know what to say. So what I was thinking quite some time that I have to, offer fruits, of course, because I am not able to come and do service in the kitchen. So I don't know when I will be getting the opportunity. But last week when Prabhuji said that whoever is interested can, have a chance to welcome the Krishna on Saturday. So I was thrilled, me and uncle. So we could collect the fruits and I was so happy being this season, we get lot of fruits. So I could do that. So I was so very, very happy about that situation.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and Mother Chandra auntie remembered what you see on screen.
Yes,
The
this I
pastime.
remembered.
Yeah, Mother Chandra auntie remembered this pastime that the fruit vendor, a devotee, was giving the fruits to Gopinath, and that's how Uncle and Mother Chandra auntie got a lot of fruits for Gopinath. Very good.
No, it's all Krishna's, I don't know what to say, blessings, Prabhu, nothing else, His mercy.
Yeah,
because when I heard some time back, a year or two back, this picture when it came, hope I will be able to do a fruit vendor to Krishna.
Yeah, so Krishna satisfied your desire.
Yes.
Very good.
Thank you so much.
Anybody else?
Prabhuji, I want to make my realization. The honey which you returned with blessings of Lord Krishna with the Tulsi. We came and took with utmost devotion and thanking Lord Krishna for enabling us to come. Due to health reasons, we are not able to participate in Radha Yatra, etc. But most importantly, the prasad, we have been taking this honey for the past 4 or 5 years. But you trust me, it is not a perception. We realized and felt the honey has got a different fragrance and a sort of a vibrant feeling, which I wanted to share with you.
Yeah, so Uncle and Mother Chandra auntie brought honey to offer to the Lord. So we offered the whole bottle as it is. And so the Maha Prasad, when it came back, I gave it back to them. And first Mother Chandra auntie was wondering, why is the honey given back to us? And I said, no, that is Prasad. When they opened, so there was Tulsi inside. And yes, the fragrance and the taste will be completely different because this is now prasad. This is reciprocation by Krishna. Very good.
Yes, Prabhuji. As after that, you said it is a prasad when we tasted. Really normal honey which we were taking, that the same brand, but it was tasting it. It was that we couldn't take more than 2 drops because the sweetness was so much. Same way, the dates after you said it is Mahaprasad, normally I get the same date only for my house, the conception. So that dates was also very, very sweet, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
You
very
can
good.
feel the, Mahaprasad taste, really very, very different.
Yeah, very
In
good.
fact, we realized nectar was overflowing from the dates.
Yeah, very good.
Yes.
Okay, let me give you homework. 3 questions, 3 points. First, briefly explain the ideal of a householder's life. Comes from verse number 1. Second, what should be understood from the example of Kardama Muni preparing to leave home? Comes from verse number 49. Third, for next class, read Canto 3, Chapter 24. So Chapter 24 will take us 2 classes, and Chapter 24 will finish this unit number 12. So we'll aim for 4th of August as the week for you to do the presentations for this unit.
Sorry, Prabhuji, do you mean 11th of August or 4th of August?
Sorry, my mistake. Yeah, you are correct. So 28th and 4th of August will cover Chapter 24, and then unit presentation will be on 11th. Thank you, Shivangi.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Are we okay to stop here?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Yes.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna,
Thank you.
everybody.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
thank you.
Krishna, everyone.